All right. Yes. This is a topic that I've probably been asked about more than any other over the past few weeks since I started posting, and it seems everyone has trouble with this. So I'll get right into this right away. The question is, how do you develop really the small muscles, especially those farthest away from your torso? In other words, how do you develop wrist muscles? Right, wrist seems hard to work for a lot of people. The second issue, how about calves? Seems like if you don't have calves, if you're not genetically gifted or genetically blessed, you're gonna have bad calves. I mean, I started out with bad calves. Not bad calves, but no calves. There's like nothing there. Um, so you kind of have to learn how to work it, right? Um, Shoulders. There are parts of the shoulders that no matter what you do, especially the rear shoulders, the rear delts, they seem to go nowhere. Some people have issues with the side delts that no matter what you do, it doesn't develop, or the upper or the front delts for that matter. But I think the front delts are the easiest part of the delt to work. Um, I've got the one suggestion that I've been pushing throughout the core of my talks, my discussions that I've been posting on my YouTube channel for the past month or so since I started, and I've been trying to get these out as regularly as possible. And that is, this is how you build the small muscles that are stubborn to build, like calves, like forearms. Don't just build them specifically, right? In other words, calves and forearms are kind of similar. They get a lot of work, yet they seem to have no size. And there seems to be an inverse relation. The more you work them, the less they seem to build, isn't it? A person who uses their forearms all the time seems to have, maybe some striations, but very little bigness on the forearms. Whereas, and a person who walks a lot seems to have very little in terms of calf muscle. But there, right then and there, is where the secret comes out, right? Those muscles are meant to do a ton of work. Therefore, they are not, they don't really get a lot of strength work. They get a lot of distance work. And as such, they are the farthest away from the torso. Where you have most of your testosterone is from the upper chest, around the shoulders, to the traps, right? That's what gives a man build, right? The guys highest in testosterone usually look like wolves up there, right? All upper body there. And it comes down to skinny legs, usually. Think of all the best athletes, right? It's all up by the shoulders. And then the farther away from the torso it goes, the less testosterone there are, so you can use those muscles for distance, right? Because testosterone will build muscle. The more testosterone you have, the more muscle you will build. The more muscle you build, the less you are able to use it for high intensity sports, period, right? If you want to keep muscle, you can't do a lot of work with it, period, right? So those muscles, the calves and forearms, were meant to do a lot of work. And as such, there is not a lot of testosterone in that area, right? Or else we wouldn't be where we are. We'd have a lot of guys with big calves and big forearms, but they wouldn't be able to do much because you run from here down the block with big calves chasing some animal that you need to feed your tribe with, and you're worn out. Those muscles will wear out, right? So legs in general were not meant to be really, really muscular. From I would say, um, humanity type standpoint, what our ancestors had to go through. I think most of the strength of a man was centered around here, just so he could grip and grab and throw and wield. But as far as having to chase an animal, if you had a lot of muscles on your legs, you wouldn't be able to do it. So I think it's our genetics that hunters, the best athletes, for that matter, today, that's a carryover, do not have big calves. So don't feel bad that you don't have big calves. But the way to work them, right back to the story again, I guess I digress a little bit here. If you want to work your calves, do an exercise like, do something heavy, a compound exercise, like deadlifts or squats on the leg day, right? Do them heavy, do them short duration, right? Say you do some squats, do 3 or 4 sets of heavy, low rep, right? Then go right into the calves, right? Do the calves, but go high. You gotta have to go high on the calves. You really just have to. There's just no way around it. It just will not build unless you give it some kind of work with weight, with real stress, right? Not too high, maybe 16 to 18 reps, but go with some heavy weights. Give it about 4, 5, 6 sets, right? Right after that heavy set of squats. And then after that, you can go back and do some other squat exercise and get some reps out, right? Because even legs need a lot of work to grow, right? Legs grow better from reps rather than heavy, right? The best combination is both, but they need a lot of reps. A lot of guys just don't give it enough reps. Same thing with the forearms. On the day you do your lat pull downs, right? On the day you do your back, where you need to hold heavy weights in your hand, your deadlifts, right? Your rows, your lat pull downs, once again, like I said, you're releasing a ton of testosterone. Even if you do your legs, right after you did your calves, I would just go right into a wrist curl, right? And get that wrist work. What I do a lot of the times is when I do, when I'm doing arms, and I've done this now throughout all my workouts, right? When I do a heavy day, when I'm doing small muscles, like say I'm doing arms, every Friday I do arms. It's the only day I do shaping exercise. Every other day is almost all compound. But even on the day I choose to do arms, on that day I will do some deadlifts when I'm done with arms, simply because I want to get that testosterone rush, right? That testosterone spurt, if you want to call it that, right? And that caps it all off, all right? You get that testosterone in your body, and it helps you with regrowing all that muscle you just broke down with doing arms or whatever. Because those muscles are so small, even though, you know, some people's arms are bigger than others. But even though you do, those muscles are so small that they do not by themselves elicit a lot of testosterone production in your body. You need compound movements with a lot of weight over many joints, right? And that stimulates production, right, of testosterone. And when that happens, that you got more testosterone now flowing in your bloodstream, go do that small exercise, go do that light exercise, that shaping exercise. Because doing it by itself without testosterone, you're kind of wasting your time, right? It's like girls who do a lot of reps of exercises. You're going to get some shape to that, but you're not going to build muscle because there's not enough testosterone in the system. It's the same thing with guys. I mean, we need to knock our testosterone levels up, 1 to 2 times more than what it normally is to get just that little iota of help in building muscle, right? So you have to do that, or else you'll just be doing reps, and you just get that very, very, very slight increase in shape from years and years of doing arm curls, but you'll never get sized, and the size comes from the heavy weights that you do, right? So that's what I want to get at today, right? In my channel, I can only talk to you about lifting natural, right? I mean, if this is too much for those of you who think it's just too much work to have to do to get natural, I see guys on all these bodybuilding channels and lifting channels, and they're jacked. They're freaking muscular as shit. But I guarantee you they're not natural. And I can tell. You've been around this so long, you can tell, right? So don't get fooled by that, man. I mean, if that's a shortcut that you want, then that's a shortcut you can take. But my channel is for those who want to do it naturally and do it slowly and do it right, so that you build it and you keep it. The problem with those guys is they build a lot of muscles coming using steroids, right? So when they come off of that, where does that go, right? It takes a lifetime of trying to keep what you've gained. You come off of those steroids, you feel like shit. Your mind is the first thing to go, because you feel like, oh my God, I'm not strong like the way I'm used to. I'm not, any of these things that those steroids gave me, and now I'm back to being a normal human, right? Well, my channel is the opposite of that. I'm taking you from a normal human and building you up little by little by little normally, so that you'll be a very strong and jacked normal human at any given time, at a time in the future, right, of your choosing, right? So that's the difference between my channel and the other channels. I can't, I try not to denigrate the other ones, because, I consider them not natural. Anyone can go, take steroids and then get big. Really, it really is that easy. It's all over the internet today. I've researched it a ton, because of my age. I've been wondering at what point, do I quit this thing and start, maybe taking some TRT or something like that, to get my levels. But I found that I just don't get to that, because what I'm doing helps me enough to keep me in the game. All right, the way I lift helps me to stay in the game. So once again, the key to lifting and the key to gaining size in the smaller muscles, especially the stubborn ones, the calves and the wrists and forearms, and some of the shoulder muscles, right? It's lift heavy. You don't even have to lift heavy on that muscle. Like if you're doing the calf, don't lift heavy on that muscle. You can if you want to, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about lifting heavy with like multi-joint movements, compound exercises, deadlifts, squats, benching, whatever, and then run straight to the calf machine and give me 16 to 18 to 20 reps, 3 to 4 sets with some good weights, right? So that's all you can make, right? And use the help from the testosterone that you just produced doing those heavy exercises. Use that to help build those small muscles, right? So that's the key. You have to get testosterone produced in a higher level than what you're normally at all the time, or else you're not going to get that help, right? So that's it for today. Please take a look at subscribe to my YouTube channel. Let me know how I'm doing. Any feedback is welcome, please, right? Give me a subscribe, give me a thumbs up, right? And that's it. Natural, bro science, little by little, you get there, but you keep it. That's it.